Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I hate streaming. I've always hated it. Video games, IRL, all of it. I have tried and tried to understand it because there seems to me to be very little loud cultural criticism of this movement, which puzzles me, of this phenomenon. It's a new creative frontier. People tell me, they say it's self-expression, it's community, it's a cultural exchange, bringing people together from disparate worlds across the globe. Wrong. It's a sickness. It's $1 billion brain rot consuming society. And today, me and John, we're gonna dive in to tell you exactly why you need to sit your son down and explain to him that streaming is for losers. John Maloney, you're gonna. I don't think you have to worry too much about streaming because you have a daughter, and it does seem to be a phenomenon. It skews very male. I mean, there are definitely streaming subgenres which have more female fans.
Yeah.
And I think from the outset, I should probably say, look, if you're watching chess streaming, I think that's probably healthier than some of the men that we're going to describe today. But generally speaking, I've mentioned it on the show a little bit to you. It's just one of those weird things where it's huge and it just seems to be getting bigger. And I go, let me have a look at this and try and understand it. And I just go, this is awful. This is awful. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah. It's funny because you mentioned this you proposed this as a focus for today's discussion, and I did some research, but my ability to do research was hampered by the sheer visceral aversion that I felt after mere seconds of watching some of the most successful streamers. And I said that to you and you said, you don't know the half of it. I'm going to take you down a dark path and you're going to really know just how bad this is. So I'm excited for that. Al, if I was to say to you, we often do the Stephen and Marie test on the show. What's the kind of broad definition? What counts as streaming? When I think of streaming, I think of somebody playing a popular video game. And it's a kind of simulation of going over to my friend's house for a sleepover, and he's addicted to video games and he doesn't like sharing. So I'm just watching him play a video game over his shoulder for hours on end.
That's a great description of what it is like. I think also it's funny the word, but I'll explain to my parents, Marie and Stephen, what streaming is. It's funny because the first time I heard the word streaming, John, if I could take your mind back to the early days of the internet, the first time I ever heard stream, it was when Real Player was a thing. We're talking dial-up internet, and you would be able to stream through this app called Real Player, video typically, sometimes audio as well. In fact, audio would have been less bandwidth. But it was a distinction between downloading, where downloading was I click a file, the server sends the entire file to my hard drive, and I cannot start enjoying that file until the entire file is on my hard drive. And then Real Player said, you don't have to actually download the whole file to your computer and your hard drive. We can actually send it over as a stream, if you will, in parts, and you can kind of enjoy it like almost like a broadcast, like TV, where it's coming into your system, but it's not a file that you have to download and wait for. It's just getting sent, and you can watch the start of it while the rest of it sort of downloads. And I guess maybe then live streaming became a thing where perhaps there'd be an internet radio station, and an internet radio station you could live stream. And so that's how I remembered streaming. And then when Twitch started to blow up, so Twitch for my parents is a platform where basically it didn't start with people live streaming video of themselves playing video games. It started off, I forget the name of it. It's an interesting history Twitch because the founders actually started off with they actually kind of started off with what we're going to discuss today, which is IRL streaming, where you live stream your life. But classic internet story, they were too early to the game and it wasn't really a thing yet. And then they discovered that, actually what people want to do is watch people playing video games. And so then I think, like you say, for many years, what we understood as streaming in the zeitgeist became people playing video games. And I remember there was a bit of a discussion about it at the time because it was this phenomenon that parents couldn't understand because they thought, well, I mean, playing video games is unhealthy enough. And now my son is watching somebody play a video game and they are completely passive in this.
They're not even, I can't even tell myself that it has sort of problem solving and reflexes development.
That's right.
Benefits. I can't buy them Lee Carvalho's putting challenge and say, like, maybe this will be good for your golf game.
And you're right. It does simulate that experience that we've all had at a sleepover where it was a one-player game. You know, it wasn't Mario Kart. It wasn't GoldenEye. Yeah. Or maybe it was GoldenEye, but 4 controllers were taken and you were the 5th kid and you had to wait out a game of GoldenEye remote mines in the facility. I'll be odd job. Everyone will be mad at me because I'm too short to shoot and it's not fair.
And you just have to, as the 5th kid, you just have to satisfy yourself with like feeling, oh, well, I get to be in on this in a sense. I get to enjoy a bit of banter. I get to just sit back and watch other people's gameplay. Yeah. And maybe comment on how well they're doing or how badly they're doing, what they should be doing or who's winning. That's kind of, you're like, and at least you could tell yourself, I'm not a loser. I'm at a sleepover and I've got friends, even though I don't have a controller.
And you would be in a social environment, an IRL social environment. And I remember when a friend of mine would be, there'd be 4 friends of mine playing Nintendo 64 Super Mario Kart, and I'd have to sit a game out. One of my friends would be so good at Mario Kart. This would be in 1996. And I would lean over to my friend who was really good at Mario Kart, and I would say to him in 1996, you're so good at this and you're so entertaining and you have such a bright and bubbly personality. Can I subscribe to you for $5.99 a month and I get emotes and access to the special members chat? And he'd say, what the fuck are you talking about? and then I'd say, yes, that's probably a little bit too much for you guys, but your kids are going to love it.
Exactly. You were an early adopter. You just wanted... you said to Chris Mitchick, can I just put a webcam in your house and watch you play? And he said, that sounds perverse. And he said, one day it will not only be regarded as not perverse, it will be celebrated and it will be somebody's whole job.
I said, let me explain you guys the Overton window and how that's about to shift real far away.
Someone's about to throw their tennis ball over the fence and smash an Overton window in the neighbour's yard.
So that's how it had been for many years. Everybody understood streaming is people playing video games on Twitch. People tune in to watch, and you would have the screen. So you're watching the video game. So let's say Grand Theft Auto. So you're watching somebody play Grand Theft Auto, and then often what they would do is they would green screen themselves. And when I say green screen, it doesn't have to be green screen, but they also would have themselves visit a window, picture in picture of themselves. So you could watch them emote, talk as they're playing the game, going, oh yeah, I wonder if I can get power up. Oh yeah, I can get power up. Oh, I wonder if I can get in this car. Oh yes, I can get in this car. And everybody in the chat is going, wow, this is great. I love being sat alone in my bedroom watching you do this. I'm definitely the type of person who's going to take life by the balls and be a success and find a wife and family. That's definitely indicative of this moment that we're having together. Just while you were talking,
I think it's worth mentioning, in part because it could be the subject of a later episode, this pre-live streaming phenomenon where this came from, where people were just doing this in a very undirected way. They were kind of live streaming, and one of them was Jennifer Ringley. Do you remember Jennifer Ringley?
No.
She was born in 1976 and finished live streaming in 2003, but we might have to do a deep dive on her sometime because I was reading about her recently. She was one of these people who, as you say, was an early adopter of this technology, but used it in a very undirected sort of general way. She just, when it was kind of a novelty to say, I'm just going to set up a camera in my house and you can watch me make eggs, and then I'll do it 24 hours a day. You can watch me sleeping. You can tune in at 2 or 3 in the morning. You can watch me in a shower with a bit of kind of, maybe there'll be a bit of pixelating or whatever. And basically human nature being human nature, that quickly developed into her being a kind of early cam girl because that was how she got money. Mm-hmm. And so our effort to try and keep this in the realm of just healthy companionship online with people and observation of other people's lives quickly descended into, I guess, in one aspect of it is sex, and in another aspect of it is just this let's focus in on video games as an activity that these people are doing. But I guess it's still this sense that you're kind of part of somebody else's life, and maybe, I guess, some of these Twitch streamers are people who are sort of viewed as the sort of people that their fans might want to hang out with IRL, as well as kind of enjoying the same games. They've got a degree of charisma, or at least that's how they're perceived by the emaciated, anemic people who follow them.
And I think you mentioned this the other week as well. Is it's like AM radio. It's serving the same function but dialed up to 11, which is none of us really want to be left with our own thoughts for too long. So what can we do to placate and to address that sense of loneliness? How can we
keep the demons at bay?
To keep the demons at bay. And then the video game thing started to turn into what was called, or is now called, IRL, or in real life streaming. And the difference between IRL streaming and video game streaming is, instead of having video games, it can literally just be a person sat in their room talking to the camera. Or what started to happen now is people go, because the technology allows it, because, mobile internet bandwidth speeds are such now that you can get faster and faster internet anywhere in the world. You can now leave your home with a high definition camera and a broadcasting rig, and you can send like incredibly high quality video to the streaming platforms, although like in just all cities, major cities around the world virtually now, which opens up all these opportunities. And so that's the kind of stuff that has started to make, not necessarily the stuff being out in the world, but just IRL streaming in general is what I have watched and thought, wow, this is terrible. And I think what it reminds me of, I always hated, and still do, I always hated comedians doing crowd work, and it gives me the same feeling, but even lamer. And the thing is, when comedians do crowd work, what I've always said, for anyone who doesn't know, is you go to see a stand-up comedian, they either do prepared material that's been meticulously crafted for impact over months. Their jokes are distilled until they're just beautiful objects of entertainment and comedy. Or what a comedian will do is come out and freestyle and riff with no preparation and talk to the audience and try and get laughs from an interaction with the audience.
Are you here with anyone tonight, sir? You've got a funny old face, don't you? Do you get called funny face? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you work at a factory? That must be dumb. I bet you're dumb, sir. Are you dumb? Yeah.
Woo.
And I've always hated crowd work. Whenever comedians would do it, I would think, I have not paid money to come and watch you do something that I could do. Like, and you just go, oh, what do you do, sir? Oh, you are you here with your wife? Oh, I saw you in here last week with a different girl, though. Does your wife know you came with a different girl? And I get that the point of crowd work is to sort of warm the audience up, to try and bring them in and make them feel like they're having a unique experience. But I was just always like, no, this is not what I paid for. Like, I paid for something that's special and interesting, and this is not interesting. Yeah. And I get the same feeling when I watch streaming, IRL live streaming, because I'm watching people sitting in their bedroom looking at a screen that has the chat box of the people watching the stream talking to them. Yeah. And it's just hours and hours and hours of them just going, what are you saying, chat? Oh, yeah. I guess I should move the vase in the background a little bit to the left. I'll move it to the left. And then the thing that starts to really irritate me is that what you realize is the same thing I realized with PewDiePie, the same thing that the Paul brothers discovered, which is that if you just take the mundane and you just jump up and down and scream, then it's enthralling enough to our human brainstem, particularly the human brainstem of a young man, that you can take nothing and trick someone into thinking it's something. And I think that's what has always really ground my gears about streaming, is that it's like a trick that people aren't figuring out. Like people are going, I love this. I love watching Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed. They're so entertaining. And I go, they're just being loud and jumping around and being obnoxious. Yeah. And that's not...
It's just hyperactive and kind of zany in a very labored way often. Yeah. And kind of shouting when they don't need to be shouting, and losing their balance, running into the camera.
There's a whole subgenre called losing their balance streaming.
That's right. It's kind of...
it's a IRL no-bow streaming. Yeah,
it's kind of slapsticky presentation style. So are they, when you talk about IRL live streaming, do they incorporate, sort of traditional Twitch style playing Fortnite into that?
A little, yes.
Then, okay, yeah. But then sometimes they'll just be hanging out, talking to the chat, not playing Fortnite or anything else.
Yeah. So I'll show you some examples. So I'll start with the two. I Googled Gemini'd IRL, most famous IRL streamers in the world, globally recognized streamers. So it said Kai Cenat, known for high energy, unpredictable content that includes pranks and challenges. Doesn't that, John, if you were to ask somebody the kind of things that I love, wouldn't you say, oh, you know what, Al's the kind of person that if you're at a dinner party with him and you are high energy, unpredictable and doing pranks, he's going to want to be a best friend with you.
It's true. Whenever I invite you over for a dinner party, I'll put a whoopee cushion on your chair and then maybe serve you something that's got stink bombs in it or something. Yeah, it's true. Pranks and challenges. I mean, nothing says this is the kind of comedy that I love, like that sort of that phrase. Okay, so that's what Kai Cenat is.
Then we've got next one. IShowSpeed focuses on high octane activities like racing, extreme sports, and challenges.
Okay.
And then it had Justine. I don't know who this is. Justine Erazak, a tech enthusiast who streams from major live events. Guy finds GoPro, specializes in extreme sports with a focus on So I'm going to focus on Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed, because they're the two men that have come up the most in my feeds over the last few years, and they share similarities in terms of the high octane jumpy scream at screen, and they're both hugely famous now. I mean, Kai Cenat was just on Fallon. I think Kai Cenat's been either on the cover of or in the most he's sort of regarded as one of the most powerful people in sort of new media and new entertainment. They both are, IShowSpeed and Kai Cenat. But I can't help but just watch their streams, and everything about it to me is like, this is bad. Like I get that people are being entertained, but it seems like a cultural sickness. And so I want to show you some. So let's start with, I've got a whole bunch of links to share here. So the first one is going to be Kai. This is Kai Cenat, and how long did this go for? Did this go for 12 hours? I think this is a 12-hour. This is a 12-hour live stream of Kai Cenat, and I guess Kai does his stream from his house, and it always makes me laugh because he's like a multi-millionaire, and he always streams from this hugely sparse room that just doesn't seem to have been particularly well interiorly designed, because it looks like it's in just a huge shed. But this is kind of what you can expect, and I'm going to skip through this a little bit. And so, John, if I share my screen with you here, and people who are listening, you'll get a sense of this just from the audio. So you can see it starts, Kai's the one on the left there.
Yeah.
And he's invited in Drewski, who's another internet personality. He's the man who's just arrived. And then you can see the chat on the right there, and you can see everybody they're just looking at the people who are broadcasting Kai. They're just looking at the chat. They're looking at the stream.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the other thing about it that really irritates me is they're having an in-person experience, and yet the whole time they're just focused on the audience. So it's like the whole thing is performative. So their friends come in, and rather than really being present with their friend, they're looking at the screen of all the millions of people sat at home watching them to see what the chat is saying. And
why
so
are people just saying what? There's just a bunch of WWWs there. I don't know why.
Win. It's such a win. It's such a win that Drewski is there.
Okay.
You have to learn chat. You have to learn chat lingo, John.
Yeah, I guess so.
You have to learn chat law.
Chat law.
And see, look, and so. So it's kind of like Big Brother, except in Big Brother they don't have a chat window and they're not staring. You know, people remember it's still going on, the TV show Big Brother. So it shares similarities with Big Brother. You'll instantly see. So he invites in Drewski, and then let's just pick
a bit like Up Late with Hot Dogs, except 20 years on.
And then I don't know how they've got there, but then they get in a limo.
Yeah.
So this is an hour in. And now this is the other thing that you'll start to realize. They're just on their phones all the time. So they're meant to be performing for you, but they're on their phones typically reading the chat, because once they leave their home, they don't have the chat on the screen anymore.
Yeah.
And look who's turned up, John.
Oh, yeah. He's done. He's finished recording the flight safety videos for Qatar Airways, and he's come down.
How could he not be in it? So maybe you could tell the people, anyone who can't see, what surprise, who would show up in anything that's popular.
Yeah, it's everybody's favorite, the famous kind of Danny DeVito to the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the Rock in 1,000 buddy comedies, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
I think Kevin and his manager just have an understanding that there's very few things that he won't do once a certain monetary threshold has been satisfied.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, he's gone.
He's gone, Qatar Airways, do it. I'll do it. Riyadh Comedy Festival, sure, I'm going to do some crowd work there. Really gonna hang some shit on some sheiks, and then I'll come and do some live streaming. You have a feeling.
With Kai Cenat.
Yeah.
So then he's here in some sort of, I guess they've gone to his hotel or it looks like a luxury hotel suite and so then they just hang. And look, see, again, they're all just looking at the screen. And then it's a lot of like, it's a lot of running around and being extra and performing.
The other thing that it makes me think of, one of the things I'm loving is that it's a sort of perfect storm, like a Venn diagram of a bunch of things that annoy you. One of which I know is like when you're at like, let's say you're at a Bucks party and nobody really knows each other that well and they don't actually have much to talk about and the kind of night's a bit boring, but they try and paper over that by just being very high energy and
yes,
everything's amazing, everything's shouty, because if they were just to calm down, Kevin Hart would be like, I'm actually kind of a generation above Kai Cenat. I don't really know what this is.
Yeah.
I'm 46 years old. He's 23. Why are we hanging out together at all?
That's true. I'm an old man and you're a boy, but let's drink together in my hotel room and scream at a webcam. Well, see, look at them. See, they're all just staring at the screen. See, they're all just staring at what the chat is telling them. And so we can just keep going. And so, look.
So to be in the chat, do you have to, like, could I just jump on there?
So here's the thing. So there is a members chat. I believe this is how it works. There's a members chat. I checked Kai Cenat's subscription box. I think he's $5.99 a month.
Yep.
And for that, there's a members chat. And the other thing, you get special privileges, I think, in the chat. So one thing that Twitch, one of the value propositions of being a subscriber to these people, paying a monthly amount, you'll get your own special emotes. So they're emojis that are only available to subscribers. So you can show your status in the chat by using special emojis that are specific to Kai Cenat, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
So that's one of the value propositions of the thing. And also, you're part of the community, and there's other little perks that make you feel like you're part of something. So look, it's just this, and you can see everybody's on their phone, and they're all it's like they're selling that they're being authentic, but the whole thing is performative, and there's just nothing. Like, look at this. Like, they're just drinking. What the flick? I just cannot get over this stuff.
By the way, I mean,
Just hours and hours of them drinking, eating. Now they're sleeping.
Oh, it's very Big Brother.
It's very Big Brother, isn't it?
Yeah. Just chill, just kind of mucking about in what looks like a kind of pretty sterile situation. And there's this part of his, I've just been reading about his Mafia-thon series, and I saw that in the background, which is, I think, kind of basically a month-long drive to get more subscribers, really, and followers. But
that's right.
So he would have, let's see, it says here he's got 7.34 million subscribers who are obviously paying at a minimum like $5 a month or something. So that is just an insane amount of money. And I guess Twitch or whoever is getting, Xi Jinping or whoever it is getting half of that, and Kai's getting a bunch of it.
Yeah, he splits it with the platform. I think he's exclusive to Twitch now, whereas I think IShowSpeed is a YouTube man. And then there's this other platform, which maybe we'll get to briefly. There's basically a bad boy of streaming, because a lot of this IRL streaming is very edgy, because it's people going out into the world, not necessarily out into the world. They might also be at home, but they are performing things which are rude, which are violent, which are offensive. And so Twitch really clamped down on that, because they were getting a lot of negative feedback about, this woman's getting her boobs out, or this person's saying racist things on the street, or this person's starting fights on the street of New York City, or this person's harassing homeless people. And so all that, then this other company called Kick realized that they could push the envelope a little bit further. So they still have rules, Kick, but it was much more loose. And so all of the loose units who got banned
like the streaming Truth Social sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Except it wasn't so much about truth as it was just allow people to commit crimes on camera more.
Sure. Yeah.
And then famously, this can just be the kick bit. Basically, there was a Twitch streamer called Vitali who was awful.
Mm-hmm.
If you can imagine, if you think this is bad, like Vitali is just the worst person. Vitali is this like Russian American guy who would just go out and record himself upsetting people on the street. And there was a bit of a thing where these people realized that they could go to Asian countries where people are less likely to engage them in violence or things like that. So you'd see people going to Japan and the Philippines, not the kind of stuff you'd probably try on the streets of like Baltimore, for example. So you go to Manila. And Vitali went to Manila and started like taking caps off police officers' heads and doing like hilarious jokes on them. And then he got arrested and put in prison and charged and charged with vexation. 3 counts of unjust vexation.
Unjust vexation. I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of the vibe of Kai Cenat. So he's jumping around. He has celebs come over to his house. He's a bit out in the world, but to be honest, most of the stuff I see Kai Cenat doing is him in his home or other people's homes or McMansions, and he invites like Kevin Hart over or people like that. But the
thing that I'm observing just from watching what you've shown me so far is that one of the potential dangers is that he's a kind of young, handsome, cool looking guy, but he's a very, he's acting like a kind of emotionally immature, perhaps slightly agoraphobic person who just wants to hang out in a room. And in that way, he's a perfect sort of shill for his followers to sort of justify their lifestyle, because he's making it seem cool and interesting to basically not do very much at all. And, just to kind of sit around watching him, you're somehow cool by association, rather than having to go out into the world, make your own friends and actually do things. You could just kind of pretend that that's your life because you're a Kai Cenat subscriber. So you're kind of part of something.
Yeah.
You can be on the chat. And so in a sense, like, they can see you. Maybe Kevin Hart watches you, looks at something you say and laughs, then in a sense you're at that party with a bunch of celebrities. And so it's kind of,
That's like totally right, John.
It's like a cameo, but it's live.
It's totally right. You feel like, even though you're in that chat with thousands of other people, these people do feel like they are part of something social. It's like we are social creatures. We are social creatures who are also driven by status. Somebody high status. Like, this is the other thing that I can't stand about streaming is that you have the streamer who is this incredibly high status figure, and then you have all of these minions in the chat.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lack of self-respect to be giving money to these people and going like, oh man, this is an amazing thing. And then the streamers themselves feed off it. They communicate, we're a team, you're the mafia, it's Kai Cenat and all of you. And perhaps it's even worth maybe me playing right now a little video of a guy on TikTok who is blown up, who plays this character called Hubert, where he parodies men who are addicted to these streams, and it's such a perfect distillation of the problem. You might have seen some of these. He's become hugely popular. So this is the guy who plays the character called Hubert. And for anyone who can't see the screen, the title of the video, to give you context, is dude seeing a streamer get rich off money they donated. Okay, so I'll play this to you, John, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Hubert. This is fantastic.
Hey, chat, I got a very important announcement to tell you.
And so that's meant to be the streamer talking to him at the start.
Hey, chat, I got a very important announcement to tell y'all, man.
What happened?
Due to all of y'all sending me money, I can now afford a $20 million house.
We did it! Yes!
Yes, we started from nothing, and now he came to something. I'm still at nothing, but he's up, man. Let's go.
Hey, y'all make sure to keep spamming those W's.
Spam
man.
those
I couldn't have
W's,
done it
John.
without
He's
y'all.
talking to me, man.
He's talking to me. He's talking to me.
Oh my God, he's talking to me. We're good friends, man.
Hey, chat, to celebrate, why don't y'all just send me more money? Let's do it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Another 500. Hey, man. We came a long way. Thank you for everything.
Hubert, thank you for the donation, but this is a celebration, man. You gotta send more money.
Send him another 100. Sorry. Been struggling with the bills.
Hey, Hubert, it's all right, man. Just try to send more tomorrow.
He's so understanding, man. He's so understanding.
So good.
Oh, it's horrible.
And
yeah,
after
there is
go
something
on.
about it, isn't there, that's kind of a bit predatory, that they're aware that a lot of people who watch them would have this kind of parasocial attachment to it, or perhaps they're not massively successful and content in their own lives, and that's what they're counting on. It's like a kind of non-sexual OnlyFans situation, really.
Yes, that's a perfect analogy, John. At
'Cause,
least,
you know, they go like the OnlyFans model who says, you know, I love my fans. And then you would say, okay, why don't you hang out with them for free? And she'd say, absolutely not. I can't imagine anything worse.
and you're right in that Kai Cenat he's hanging out with Kevin Hart. He's not hanging out with you.
No, that's right. Exactly.
Who the fuck are you? What's your status?
Nor would he ever. And yeah, so what if I were to, like, so do you know anything about the kind of top level? Is there a kind of OnlyFans-esque top level subscription which might allow me to go into that room for 5 minutes and hang out with Kevin and Kai?
I mean, Kai, yeah. So there's not, because Kai and IShowSpeed, who we're about to get to, are so massive and they're making like millions of dollars a day. They're not gonna. I mean, you'd have to be a Saudi royal to be able to get them to do anything for you.
And what if I got in the chat and just started saying you're a piece of trash?
Then you get banned.
Do you? Okay,
So they just
right.
ban you. I mean, this is
Yeah.
another famous thing in streaming world is people getting banned and what you get banned for and how you get back in, and people getting really upset about getting banned. So that's Kai Cenat. Now we're going to move on to a man who IRLs in a different way, and I full credit to IShowSpeed and Kai Cenat in that they're both young men that came from very poor backgrounds, and they have built empires, and they are at the top of this new media, this new frontier. What's interesting about IShowSpeed is that he started off like everyone else as a video game streamer. He got big by the classic way: jump up and down, scream, smash things, light fireworks in your bedroom, pretend that knocking over a glass of water is akin to like your whole family being in a car accident. You know, this is how you get.
Make a crazy sandwich with ingredients that don't really get
Chat. I'm out of lettuce, chat. Chat, what the fuck am I going to do? There's no fucking lettuce, chat. That's what you do. That's what you do. And you are right, John. I like that you perceived that it is all the things that I hate more than anything in the world, which is why I'm so sensitive to this. So what's really interesting about IShowSpeed is he's a kind of different phenomenon to Kai Cenat, at least from what I've seen, because what he did, he got huge through video game streaming, then IRL streaming, where he would sit in his room, talk to the chat, do crazy pranks. I saw him stick fireworks in he had like a Pikachu plush toy. He stuck fireworks in its head and then lit the fireworks on fire. I think while he was still living at home with his mother when he was like 16, 17.
Okay. Yeah.
But then he very cleverly realized that to take it to the next level, he's always trying to up his game. I've heard a few interviews with IShowSpeed, and he started traveling internationally because his audience is global. And so he now does these tours where he will go to China. And what he does, he takes a team with him. they have these incredible devices that, again, allow him to just stream from anywhere. And so he brings a camera crew with him that then live stream him in these places like Shanghai, and they'll have a loose agenda of what they're going to do for the day. So like 10 hours, it'll be go and meet this famous Chinese sports person, then go and go to a famous Chinese food market, then go to the most famous mall, then a crazy prank or a stunt. So he'll then do something like, he'll go, I'll show you one of them. For example, he gets in a drone, like an unmanned drone in China.
Okay. Go and deface a statue of Chairman Mao or something.
So this is like, so 158. So this is kind of, I'll show you a little bit here of what this looks like in terms of, this is a recording of a live stream, which again, this is 11 hours.
Wow.
And so this is how it starts. So this one's called he was doing last month, he was doing 35 days. I think he did 35 days in maybe 35 different cities or states in the US.
Yeah.
And so this is Nashville. And so it starts off, so he was traveling through the country on a tour bus.
Yeah.
And so as you can see, the stream is starting. You can see the tour bus cam, like a flight cam. It's showing the front of the tour bus, and then the picture-in-picture is literally him asleep, because you can watch him sleep during the evening,
right?
When he's not doing anything. So you can see he's asleep there in the top right-hand corner. And now I'm 40 minutes in. He's still asleep, and now he's awake. He's going to get he's gone to get breakfast. He's met like probably a local celebrity. Now he goes to get breakfast, and look, he just does this kind of stuff, like just
kind of playing around with strangers.
Exactly, just sort of upsetting people.
Sort of acting like he's in GTA, just like pushes a pedestrian and walks off.
Yes, exactly. And then they start driving him around. Look.
And is that his signature rodeo hat? Is that kind of part of his getup?
That's just for Nashville. So now you can see he's always got his phone in his hand, because he's just reading the chat the whole time to see what it wants him to do. So
Where
good.
Is he dancing with some random?
Just in Nashville. And because he's so famous, and because everybody knows, all the kids know where he's going to be, this is a huge part of the stream, where he walks through a city with a massive team of security, and people try and touch him and scream at him and get autographs, and then he just ignores 99.9% of them while they scream at him, "Speed, speed, speed!"
Just want to throw an egg at him.
So that's one IShowSpeed clip. So that's him in Nashville. Now I wanted to show you the kind of overacting thing, which really upsets me. So this is him in China.
This is him in
China, and this is one of his like classic stunts. So what he's doing here is they've put him in an unmanned drone.
Way to go out, I guess. As a streamer, I guess.
And this is a very classic example of just being completely performative for the camera. So watch this. So he's in the helicopter.
Oh my God, it's going. Oh hell no.
Checking the phone, checking the chat.
Everyone like that noise I'm making?
I'm in a flying car, bro. What do I be doing?
And it just says in the chat.
Why do I do stuff like this? I'm in a flying car, the first person to drive a flying car into me. No, hold on.
Yeah, so...
Just says, you're an idiot. And then it says, J Maloney 82 removed from chat.
So what I think again, what the defense of this is that, for example, he's gone to China. It's like a cultural exchange. But I think another thing about it that really upsets me is that people treat him like it's like celebrity culture on steroids, where the people that are into him or people that just want their own internet clout, they just scream at him and try and grab him, and he sort of ignores them, and the whole thing just feels yuck to me. Maybe what I can show you here is there was a incident in Norway, basically because of the way that IShowSpeed behaves. That is how he's cultivated fans that themselves now behave like that when they are around him. He's not like a bookish fellow who's doing a literature festival. He's jumping up, screaming, sort of being in people's faces in public. So then when he turns up in a place like Norway, this was a couple of years ago, this was an incident that got some media attention. He's basically encouraged people to turn up to these events and behave in this way.
And really so then kind of extra and a bit naughty.
Egg them on. So this is him in a store in Norway, and people have turned up outside and are trying to get in.
Hey! Bro, let me go.
Chat.
I can't. Nah, chat, this is bad. This is bad already. Shut the up. Get back. Get back.
See, it's clearly dangerous, and he's clearly still performing. Like he recognizes that it's a moment that he can milk for content. He's sort of he's pretending that he's feeling threatened, but listen to how he's like, if he was really,
he's enjoying it.
Yeah,
and he could just kind of go in through a back entrance and leave probably, if he was really interested in, or kind of go to an area that. Or say, I'm turning the cameras off. Because this is not what I intended. But clearly he's recognizing the opportunity, which is, it's in keeping with the kind of Paul brothers doing things that are a bit kind of envelope pushing and socially irresponsible.
So I'll skip through this, John, so you get a bit of a sense of the kind of atmosphere that he whips up.
Yeah.
Get back! 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 Get back!
Right.
Get back! Is maybe around.
And then he gets on the balcony. Yeah.
I got a plan. I know what worked. I got a plan.
So he's like, oh, how do I get out? How do I get out?
Mute. I got to at least do one suey in Norway.
And then he injured his foot.
What was he doing? Jumping off the balcony?
I forget what he did, but
I played for the Portugal national team.
So he injured his foot, and then there's a moment here that I love, which is
because I'm just here for
he's injured his foot, but then on the phone.
Get my hair!
Yeah, and he ended up, and then there was like a massive thing where he tried to leave through the front door and everybody chased him and he got injured and somebody kicked him in the head.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So,
and was that kind of, do you think he was genuinely frightened during that episode and felt that he lost control of the situation?
I think that at the very end, he probably realized that he'd lost control of the situation, but he knows full well that this is why people tune in to the streams as well. People want the craziness. People want him to be loud and stunty, and he certainly does. Like, he does really put himself out there, and he does travel the world, and he works incredibly hard at what this is, which I again just think is bad. But he works very hard at what I think is bad.
Yeah, it's like saying, like saying some Nazi commander, he was a very good tactician, but he just had the wrong values. Yeah, okay, interesting. And so how does that compare? Another person I was thinking of in the lead up to this discussion was a beloved comedian, beloved by you and me, Limmy, who's turned to more of your traditional.
Oh, you're right.
More of your traditional stream. And I've always thought that was a kind of, I mean, there are bits where he's very, very funny, as he is, you know. Brian Limond, he's a Scottish comedian, for anyone who doesn't know, who used to have a kind of sketch comedy show and I think did a bit of stand-up and now makes a lot of money, I guess, through more conventional, I think, sort of video game streaming, and often plays these kind of quite monotonous seeming, at least to me, seeming games where it's like your job is to, you're a truck driver and you've got to go from Rotterdam to London, and it's just like, it's just hours of driving and him kind of riffing over the top and being slightly sort of abusive to people in the chat and so on. But it's it's kind of sad to see him do that, because whilst he's occasionally very funny on it, it's the same sort of dynamic, which he's very aware of, where, people will say, "Love you, Limmy," or whatever, and he's just like, "Shut up." He's kind of deliberately plays with this sort of talking down to them and being a kind of grouchy prick, and then having these moments of comedic improvisation. But then I'm sure there's a lot of just monotony as well, where he's kind of, you're just tuning in and he's not saying much. He's driving down the M1 in his virtual truck.
Yeah, so that was an economic decision from what I understand. He has said, I made these shows for the BBC. I made my own comedy for years. I tried for years to make a living from the shows that you and me loved. So all of his characters, Falcon, Hoof, and Dee Dee. We loved that show. But he basically said, look, there's just, I'm a Scottish comedian. Not only is my stuff like, pretty left of center, it's pretty out there and wacky, but I'm also like Scottish. So even that probably makes it even more difficult for a wider audience to appreciate.
Yeah. And he's very Scottish. Like
he's very Scottish.
Yeah. He's kind of a lot of his comedic lore is very rooted in working class Scottish culture, and he's got an extremely thick accent and all those sorts of things.
But he would be, for me, top 5 comedic discoveries of the last 20 years. For me, it'd be like Tim and Eric, Limmy. I only really got into Brass Eye in the last 20 years. Chris Morris. Yeah. I just think, though, this is, again, Tim and Eric, but Steve Brule is maybe the funniest thing that I've seen in the last, 20 years. I could just watch Steve Brule. And so he's just a genius, and the world that he created. But I think he said, I just can't, there's not enough money. I've just had a kid. He's, I think, got kids. And he realized the money is in streaming. If I just sit at home, I have enough of a profile from my comedy that I can leverage that to get an audience that will watch me on Twitch. And then I can try and build from that. And it worked, as far as I know. So he treats it like a job. He wakes up every day. He gets on Twitch. He plays video games. Often, like you say, it's like a driving simulator. And then he's kind of himself during the fucking 5, 6, 7 hour live stream, goes back and forth with the chat. But it's very much like I said to you at the start, crowd work versus a fucking TV show that you've written over months with other writers, and you're just sitting there watching the live stream going, oh fuck, I hope he says something funny. And because he's such a talented comedian, there are things that he has said during those streams which have been clipped and put on social media or YouTube, which are fucking hilarious. I think my favorite one, the God, where he goes to heaven and he's negotiating with God to get into heaven. That is fucking genius. I like this guy. You got balls. I got balls, kid. It's for anyone that doesn't know, you should look it up. Look up Limmy Chats to God live stream. And he basically pretends that somebody's been sent to heaven, and God's and is negotiating with God's oh, you haven't been good enough to get up here, and the guy's is just really ballsy to God.
He starts off giving advice to someone who's at the pearly gates, sort of don't don't like dare them to send you to hell and be really kind of standoffish and aggressive.
That's right. That's double down.
Don't back down, double down.
Don't back down, double down. Yeah. And it's fucking genius. But again, how long would you have to sit there watching him play Truck Simulator until he said that? And I'm not going to do that. So I personally have never watched a Limmy stream. I will never tune into a Limmy stream because, I also just, maybe I'm being cruel, but I also, I just go, who are these people that are watching these streams? Maybe it is more people, maybe it is like AM radio, but I just get this sense that the people that are really into watching streamers are not in a great place.
No, I agree. And yeah, I think particularly that sort of, well, I don't know, there's not really a comparison between, there's not really one that's better, because I think both the sort of IRL streamers and the video game streaming, it's really just you're on the other end of it, being completely passive and getting a kind of amorphous sense of being part of something which is entirely illusory. And it is that kind of AM radio thing, except that, it's so immersive that people obviously some people must spend hours and hours a day watching that stuff. And it's just, what if your whole day is just watching people doing, having little stupid performative parties in hotel rooms and playing video games, and your muscles are just atrophying in the dark. It's so odd.
You're giving them money.
Exactly. Fucking yeah, it's inherently unhealthy. So my message, and I'm sure yours to these people, is shut-ins of the world, unite. You've got nothing to lose but your streams.
Shut-ins of the world, united, take over, hand it over. Well, John,
now I've got to go and feed my daughter dinner and tell her all about the wild world of streaming. I might just have a Saturday night off and maybe put on a bit of IShowSpeed.
I would say
pop her in front of that big screen.
I would say strap the Oculus Rift. But strap your child-size Oculus Rift, baby's first Oculus. Strap that. That's right. Strap that onto Innes's head.
My Oculus Junior.
Strap that onto Innes's head and just do 72 hours of IShowSpeed going through Europe and upsetting people and doing pranks and risking his own life and that of others, and encouraging young men to live a life of just being obnoxious and dumb.
Yeah. And then I'll say to Kai, look, you say there's nothing unhealthy about this, so I've done that to my daughter, and according to you, that's fine, isn't it? And he would have to admit that it's not.
And then maybe put on three Kevin Hart films to end out the Oculus. A Kevin Hart triple bill. I don't even know. I couldn't even fucking name 3 Kevin Hart films. What is he even in?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched any of those where he's just sassing.
He's just in ads. He's just in ads.
He is. He is. I did enjoy him saying, because I had to watch it quite a few times when I went overseas earlier this year, him saying, kind of riffing about being in Doha and how great Qatar Airways is and stuff. It's good. It's got him with a falcon on his shoulder, I think, in one of the scenes, because they love falcons in Doha.
They love falconing.
So I recommend that to people. Al, I've really enjoyed that episode about the legions of shut-ins who are following Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed. and if you're an agoraphobic shut-in and want to show your support to Don't Praise the Machine, well, we've got our very own version of Twitch streams, and it's the Don't Praise the Machine Patreon. There are 3 tiers. There are a variety of gifts and gimmicks and bonuses available to you at each tier. We're talking bonus episodes. We're talking merchandise. We're talking personalized relationships with Alexander and I. That vary depending on how much money you're willing to give to us. So pick the tier that's right for you and your family.
Beautiful. And you can get to our Patreon. You can just Google dptm.patreon, or it's patreon.com/DPTM. And we would love to make you part of our parasocial community. There's no live streaming on chat on the podcast yet.
No.
But as Kai and IShow continue to just make bank, I expect that eventually we'll just do what all the comedians who played the Riyadh Comedy Festival and had criticized billionaires and blood money for years, and you'll just see me out there doing backflips off a wall in Istanbul, shoving elderly women in Japan into ponds.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
Exactly. I'll be live
and
streaming
like-
from suicide forests and getting cancelled.
Thank you so much, everybody, and we can't wait to see you next week.
The podcast.